everyone. Good morning. I am so happy you're here today. And my name is Monica John. Probably a lot of you already know me, Division E Director this year. And I am honored to introduce our speaker, D.W. He told me to just call him D.W. and his last name is Star. I wonder if your life is ever going to change. Do you have change in your life? Oh, do you sometimes feel stressed by change? Yeah. Would you like to learn how to make change your friend?
Yeah. Sure.
It's possible. Do you want to sink or swim when you have change in your life?
That's good.
Well, if you answered yes to making change your friend and to wanting to swim, you will be glad you're here. Well, if you said no, D.W. says you are in serious denial. The doors have been locked. We're so glad our speaker is here today. D.W. has spoken in 10 countries. The last foreign country he spoke in was Atlantic City, New Jersey. His innovative book, When Change Means Business, his 5-star formula for championing change and leadership development online training program, and his 5-star change quiz established him as a premier expert on change and leadership. He owns 2 ferocious dogs, Rambo and Houdini, both 10-pound Yorkies. He is the world's worst amateur magician, but he keeps on trying. So far, he hasn't sunk. Helping us see the friendly side of change, please join me in welcoming all the way from Tyson's Corner, Virginia, speaker, author, and consultant, and you may have seen him on the Jim Fallon show. He was in the 3rd row of the audience. On the right-hand side, our speaker today, change and business growth expert, D.W. Star.
Thank you. I'm going to give you a choice of 3 styles of presentation today. You had a choice of 4 different talks. You picked this one. I'm going to give you a choice of 3 styles of presentation. Here's the first one. I am very excited to be here. I can't wait to tell you all about change and what it can do for you in your life. Here's the second one. Oh man, I can't wait to tell you what's going to change. Is so exciting. Things are happening all the time. All right, how many want the third one even before they heard what it was? Awesome. Okay, stand up, turn around, and give the person behind you a high five. All right, now go give somebody else a high five. Okay, now come back to your seats. Now I want you to give yourself a high five. Oh no, you have to keep standing. This is an interactive presentation. So, give yourself a high five. Another one. Faster. Okay, you can sit down now. I just want to thank you because now when I go home today, I can tell my wife Liz, who I've been married to for over 30 years, that I got a standing ovation before I even started. So now you know I have a very silly sense of humor. And we're going to be doing lots of fun things throughout the rest of the day. So, before we get started, there are 3 things I want to tell you. 1, the envelope. Do not open that under penalty of law. If you didn't get an envelope, run back there and get one real fast. Okay, number 2. Everybody take out your cell phone. Take out your cell phone. It's important. This is a very important piece of the program. So take out your cell phone. As soon as you sit down, sir, take out your cell phone. Most people's in presentations, they say, turn it off. I say, turn it on. So I want you to make sure your cell phone is on. I want you to make sure that it is on vibrate. So it doesn't ring while I'm speaking. And I want you to go to your settings and go to Wi-Fi. And it'll say Marriott Conference. And when you've got that, raise your hand. When you see it says Marriott Conference, some of the techies are always faster than the others. Okay, so are you in settings yet? Are you in Marriott Conference? Click on it so that I can give you the password. You got it? You ready? Glenn. G-L-E-N, all caps. G-L-E-N, all caps. When you got that, it should give you the Marriott website or something like that, so you should be on. You on? Everybody on?
Yeah, G-L-E-N.
G-L-E-N. Mm-hmm. Well, if it's not working, we'll get to it a little bit later. Okay, so what I want you to do is feel comfortable in texting, posting, tweeting, taking pictures. I want you to feel comfortable to do all those things during my presentation, because I know some of you are going to do it anyway. And you're going to do it under here. So you might as well do it out front. And what I want you to do is remember how to spell my name. It's D-W star with 2 R's. D-W star with 2 R's. And my website is 5starchange.com. And you can spell that any way you want. I bought all 4 versions of it, so it'll still work. And here, I think, is the best part of all. No PowerPoint. Can we get a yay? 1, 2, 3. Yay! All right, awesome. Okay, so now let's have some real fun. Turn to someone you don't know and tell them your name. And I want you to take turns telling them something you were inspired to do when you were a little kid and you never told your parents. Oh, and by the way, when the 30 seconds are up, I'll do that, and then I'll do that again when it's time to come back. Think about something you were inspired to do as a child that you never told your parents.
Okay.
Okay, switch, and now the other person talk. Okay, you guys can stop now. As you know, in Toastmasters, it's really important to stay on time. So there's times when I might rush you through a request. Here's the first request. Somebody raise their hand or just shout out something that they were inspired to do when they were younger in 2 sentences. Who wants to do one? Come on, what did you do when you were a kid?
Do I do it for my partner or for myself?
Yourself.
I'm Jill, and I wanted to be a mermaid. I've never told my parents.
Okay, awesome. Anybody else?
I'm Sharon. I wanted to be a writer, and now I'm an IT specialist.
Okay, well, there's still time. Being a leader can start at any age, and being inspired usually starts when you're younger. When I was 9 years old, I was inspired to do magic in a very unique way. And what I did was, I had my friend over in the backyard, and I had a beaker of, I was into chemistry too. So I had a beaker of liquid and another beaker of liquid, and they were both clear. And I took this one and I poured it into that one. And it went psh, like that. Good on the tie. It went psh, like that, and it turned all purple. And he went, wow, that's really neato. And I said, wait, look at this. And then I took a test tube and another test tube, a lot skinnier, and I poured it in, and it turned all green. And it went psh. And he went, wow, that's really neato. And then I got an idea. The next week, I had all my friends in the neighborhood in the backyard. I had a TV dinner tray, and I did a magic show in front of all of them, and I charged them all 10 cents. That was the beginning of my sales career and my presentation career back at 9. Now, a real leader looks for opportunity, creates the opportunity, and then takes action on the opportunity. Now, you may have noticed I'm already starting to use notes. Let me tell you why. I've had 3 traumatic brain injuries in my life. 1 at 2, 1 at 6, and 1 at 40. At 2, I fell out of a car and fractured my skull. At 6, I was hit by a car while riding a bicycle across the street, flew 15 feet in the air, broke this leg, it's called your femur, it's the largest bone in your body, and I went unconscious. And at that point, when I did heal from, when they took the cast off, I had to learn to walk all over again. So I crawled on my hands and knees throughout my house, because there was no physical therapy back in 1957. Yes, I'm 65 years old. And, for those of you that are mathematicians here. And, oh, the third one. I was listening to a Billy Joel concert in my Cadillac on a cassette tape on the way to see him play. And I got hit at 55 miles an hour because they never saw the stop sign and plowed right through. I hit my head on the inside. Have a seat, sir. I hit my head on the inside of the car so hard I dented the inside of the car, and I affected my memory. What did I affect? Oh yeah, I affected my memory. So I need to use notes. And that's what I'm going to be doing through the entire presentation. So I know that in the Toastmasters, sometimes they say it's not really good to use notes. You should really learn your stuff. I can't. I have no way to memorize large pieces of information. But that's okay. What I've done is I've created mnemonic devices. I've learned how to deal with disruption. I've learned how to deal with change in a way that I'm still able to be successful. In so that, turn the page. It says turn the page. Ah, yes, in business. In the company that I work with, I have been a top $1 million seller year after year after year for 30 years, some years selling an entire $1 million in 1 year. And I've done it because I've looked for opportunity, I've stayed creative, and I've been open to change. I figured out what worked and what didn't. And I did more of what worked and less of what didn't. Instead of focusing on what I couldn't do, I focused on what I could do. And I see this gentleman here shaking his head. What's your name, sir?
Donald.
Donald. So you get that, huh, Donald?
Remind me of a marketing class.
Awesome.
Instead of saying, do more of what sells and do less of what doesn't.
Exactly. So I learned not to judge, and I found, like I said, what works and what doesn't work. And that's what's helped me become the leader I am today. But you too are a leader. And I want you to understand that, even if you don't believe you are. And that's hopefully why you're in the room today. So I want you to think about this. You might be one step away from being a world champion Toastmaster. Or you might have just got started. But there was a moment in your life, just before you stood up to give that first presentation, that you said, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Right? But you did it anyway. You did it anyway. So it's the same as leaders. As the leaders that we see today, sometimes we have a tendency to forget that they started like that too, just like you. They aren't where they are because they just got there immediately. They weren't born a leader. It's an incremental growth. So I want somebody to tell me an adjective for a leader. Shout it out.
Visionary.
Visionary. Ethical. Inspirational. Determined. Dynamic. Great. Okay, this says I should be at the 10-minute mark. How am I doing, guys? Come on, phone. Oh, I'm behind. Okay. Think of a leader who impacted you. Think of how at some point, one way or another, they began initially. how they had to get it wrong, to not know what they were doing, and yet still, now today, they're successful. Where they are now is not where they started from. It's like riding a bike or driving a car. You're not a born driver. What happens? You're a kid and you see your parents drive, and you go, wow, that looks like that might be fun. And then you get to be 14, 15 years old, depends on where you live, and all of a sudden, you get a mentor. They're called a driving instructor. Unless you're one of the unfortunate ones, then it's your parents. And then you have my sympathy. I'll tell you, you really do. But what you do is you do things, and you do things right, and sometimes you do things wrong, and hopefully you don't do too many things wrong, and you get your license. How many people in this room can drive a car? Oh my gosh, that's almost everybody in the room. You're all leaders. Because you started out with no knowledge of how to do it. You started out with no tools, no preconceived information. You learned it as you went, a step at a time. So if you can drive a car, you're a leader. Now, think of a time you accomplished something. I want you to think now, right now, of a time you accomplished something. You took on something you hadn't ever done before. And I want it to be not Toastmasters. I want it to be something outside of Toastmasters. It could be riding a bike. It could be running your first 5K. It could be driving a car. It could be playing guitar or organizing a party. Where were you when you started, and where were you when you finished? Share about that with somebody next to you. That means you switch and the other person talks. Okay. Did anyone get a light bulb moment out of that? A light bulb moment is like an aha moment. What I want you to do is when you get a light bulb moment or an aha moment throughout the rest of this presentation, I just want you to shout out, aha, just like that. So let's practice that. We're going to say aha at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, aha. All right, do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, aha. Hey, you guys are good. Man. All right. So we can see there's a progression to becoming a leader, and that's the whole point of this. So as a 9-year-old, without even being aware of it, I looked for opportunity, I created opportunity, and then I took action on the opportunity. The issue is we get mucked up sometimes thinking of it logically. We have a tendency to think that logic will help us be successful. To look for opportunity and be a great leader, you have to understand how we operate as human beings. In Toastmasters, there's many different styles of presentation, many different ways to get your point across. The guy next door, Herman, he's doing a different style than I am, and he's talking about leadership. We all have different styles and different ways of presenting. Hopefully you like mine. You like it so far? Oh, good. Oh, that's good. All right, make sure you do a good eval at the end here. All right, but what we need to remember is that leaders are the same way. Leaders come in all different styles, all different shapes, all different looks, all different ways of presenting and motivating their teams. What you'll remember after you leave here today and in the future is the people who moved you emotionally, not intellectually. Boy, I'm getting tingles just saying that. Wow. It reminds me of a conversation I had with a rocket. See, this one I know because it's my story. I don't have to read it. It reminds me of a conversation I had with a rocket scientist. Yes, he worked for NASA. And he was on the plane, and we were working on the computers separately. And then all of a sudden we kind of stopped and we started chatting back and forth. And I said, what do you do? He goes, oh, I work for NASA. I said, oh, cool. He goes, what do you do? I said, I'm a disruptive change expert. He looked at me. He goes, have I got something to tell you? And I said, oh, that's cool. I said, people make decisions. He was talking to me about all the disruption in NASA. And I said, people make change and decisions based on emotion, and then they justify it with logic. And he looked, and I said, it's not rocket science. I actually said that. And he said, wait a minute. I'm not like that. No way, I'm not like that. I make decisions based on logic. I make decisions based on logic. And I said, really? He goes, yeah, absolutely. I said, well, let me ask you a question. How did that make you feel when you made those decisions? And he said, oh, I feel great when I make those decisions. I said, thank you.
How many followers?
And he said, and I said to myself, I guess it's rocket science after all. So, that's a fun story to tell. I love telling that story. So remember, the team members and your customers are making decisions based on emotion and not logic. By just focusing on the logic, you're boxed in and they're boxed in. Logic is only one way, and success is about a myriad of ways. And I know by applying that, that's how come I've been such a successful salesperson. You have to look for opportunity, not just what's in front of your face, but sometimes you have to look for it in an emotional way. My 5-star change quiz that you might get a chance to do today at the end, I don't know, we're going to see how fast we can do this, gives you an opportunity to learn about your own personal change process and how to improve it. If you don't get a chance to do it today, you can always go to my website and do it later. When you understand these differences, it not only makes you a better leader, a better communicator, a better salesperson, but a better spouse, a better partner, a better brother, a better sister. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. Makes you a better spouse, a better partner, a better brother, a better sister, a better father, a better mother. And as a leader, you're going to deal with team members, colleagues, and customers. Just like here in Toastmasters, you need to look for the opportunity in leadership. Even if you don't feel you can handle it yet, you'll learn to adopt and change, and it can be like your driver's ed for other parts of your life, for your business, for your personal relationships, for your friends and your family. You can learn to use the leadership skills you learn by learning to be a leader to apply it outside of Toastmasters. Just last week at a presentation I was giving to a professional organization, I had somebody come up to me afterwards and she went, TW, I don't like change. She whispered it like it was a secret. So I said to her, yes, you do. She looked at me so puzzled, and I said, listen, I want you to imagine this scenario. And I'm going to ask you to imagine the same scenario, especially if you don't think you like change. In fact, if you want to raise your hand if you don't like change, if you're brave enough to do that, go for it. How many people don't like change? Okay. Everybody else in the room loves it. Oh, it depends. So I call you on the phone, you're at work, and I say, what's your first name?
Janet.
I say, hey, Janet, guess what? And you go, what? And what I don't know is that at lunchtime, you were sitting with one of your coworkers and you said, these meetings are driving me crazy. I can't wait to get home. And you told the person you were talking to that every Thursday when you get home, it's Thursday night and it's Shonda night. How many people know what Shonda night is? Okay. And it's how to get away with murder. Grey's Anatomy. Scandal. Or for some of you, it's the Big Bang Theory. Or for some of you, it's NFL football. Thursday night NFL football. It's your story. It's your imagination. Janet, use your own imagination on what you might have said in that situation. But the story continues. So I say to you, guess what? And you go, Janet says, what? And I say, one of my friends, he's got to go out of town to a meeting, and he's got tickets to see the Wizards. And I went, and he said, do you want him? I said, of course I want him. And then what he did was, I said, how can I get him? And he said, yeah, pick him up, so-and-so. I said, great. And I said, so I got on the phone right away and I called you because you're the biggest Wizards fan there is. I know that. And so I said, you want to go? And you don't like change. You don't like change. So you say, no, I've got my whole night planned out. I'm getting pizza, I'm getting my shows. Is that what you say? Heck no, that's not what you say. You say, absolutely, I want to go. What do I need to do to make this change work? It's not the change, it's not that we don't like change. It's that we don't like change we don't like. Awesome, that's great because I lost my place. Okay, oh, there it is. It says think about that. Okay, so how many of you would like to learn proactively a way to create opportunity right now? Because remember, we look for opportunity, we create opportunity, and then we take action on opportunity. So, there's this opportunity, this great opportunity I have for you today. And I'm going to help you train your brain to adapt to change even better. Who'd like to learn how to do that? Raise your hand. Awesome. Okay, one thing we understand as a leader is that leadership is about change. Things are constantly changing. The pace, the amount, it's all happening so fast. And leaders who are successful know how to deal with it. They know how to adapt. So this is an exercise to help you change the neuroplasticity in your brain. So, everybody, stay seated. That's right. Stay seated. Raise your right hand. Now, keep it up if you're right-handed. Raise your left hand if you're left-handed. Okay, perfect. Now, those are your dominant hands. Now what I want you to do is, keeping your hand in the air, I want you to take the other hand that's not in the air and pick up a pen. And if you don't have a pen, let us know because we got some extra pens here. Anybody need a pen? Who needs a pen? Need a pen? Oh no, if you... I should get a pen. You need a pen? Anybody else need a pen? I can't tell if you're raising your hands or you need a pen. So you should be holding the pen in the air with your opposite hand. That's what I want you to be doing. Holding the pen in the air with your opposite hand and putting your dominant hand back down. So now all the hands in the air should be the hands you don't normally write with. Correct? Good. Now I want you to write your name. You can use that envelope if you don't have any other paper, but just don't you open it. Whoa. Five-star change, get it? Okay. So this brain change exercise is called opposite hand attack. And it's based on many scientific studies that show that our brain has neuroplasticity. In scientific terminology, and I'll read this, the ability of the brain to form or reorganize synaptic connections, especially in response to learning experience or following injury. Or in laypersons, your brain is more flexible than we ever thought it was before. It changes because it is constantly optimizing itself, reorganizing itself, even from injury. And with 3 brain injuries, I certainly have studied the brain enough to understand that. And what it does is hand attack. Short, OHA. OHA, opposite hand attack. And you get to, what it does is it transfers your thinking abilities from one lobe to another, particularly as we age. So that's good news for us old folks in the room, right? Right? I guess you can teach an old brain new tricks after all. Okay, so let's examine OHA a little bit more. How many people printed? Aha, okay. Remember I said write your name, not print. Now, why did you print your name? There's a good chance that it's because you wanted to do it better. You wanted to get a better result. But sometimes doing it the easy way is not always the best way. Sometimes it's hard, just like sometimes it's hard to be a leader. 2, how many feel like it was sloppy? Okay, like you look like a kid, right, when you were a kid. Well, you've been using that dominant hand for how long? And you expect that quickly to get a result that's equal to the result of all the years you use the other hand? Sometimes we set our goals too high too soon. There's nothing wrong with lofty goals, but it's important to set our goals realistically. And when it comes to leadership, it's important to understand the team members so that you set realistic goals for yourself and the individual team members, because oftentimes they think, act, and work with change differently. And 3, how many did it? I should see every hand, every opposite hand in the air right now. How many did it? You all did it. Awesome. So, what does that mean? It means it may not be perfect. It means it may not be exactly the way you want it, but you got the job done. Leadership is the same thing. It's about stepping stones. It's about doing things a little bit at a time. Remember, some of the top leaders of today did not start out that way. Okay, so there are lots of other OHA exercises. There's pouring your coffee, there's opening the refrigerator, there's, I can actually tie my shoes with my opposite hand now, and I shaved this morning with my opposite hand, just to remind myself I can do that. What do you think that does to the neuroplasticity in my brain? What do you think that tells my subconscious that I can do things that I didn't think I could do? Imagine what would happen if you started doing these kinds of techniques and what it would be for you. In fact, what I want you to do now is, I have a chapter of that in my book. You can read about it if you want. It's on. You can buy it on the web or whatever. And here, thanks for the participation. Yeah, you can get it on my website, 5starchange.com. What does the green mean again? 30. Oh, this is 32. Okay. All right. So change is always a challenge to you and your team members. So let's have some real fun. Take out your phones real fast. Your phones. Take out your phones real fast, real fast. I want you to text. I want you to tweet. I want you to take a picture of the room. Have some fun with it real quick. Somebody take a picture of the room. Take a picture of me. Take a picture of the room. Take a picture of the audience. Now text it, tweet it, post it. Make sure you spell my name right. Oh, and hashtag D36 conference or hashtag DW star, no dots, no periods. Okay. You might get some comments back, and if you do, you'll have an opportunity to, oh, I forgot to tell you what to text. I'm getting my OHA on. I'm getting my OHA on, and you may get some results from that. And what will happen is you'll get a chance to teach those people a little bit about change, and that'll even help you learn a little more. So let's take it one more level. How many people are willing to commit to change and willing to commit to OHA by eating lunch today with their opposite hand? Raise your opposite hand. Okay, we got some brave souls in the room, and make sure you wear a napkin. I just ad-libbed that. That was cool. I got to remember that. Okay, so let's anchor this in. What benefits will you get from becoming a leader? What benefits will you get by being a leader? Go ahead and write down a couple of these real quick. And we don't have a lot of time. You said that was 20 on the green?
30.
Ooh, 30. Ooh, I gotta go faster. Okay, come back. I want you to tune into those benefits of being a leader. Tune into the benefits of giving as a leader. What we must do is we must understand that we need to take those benefits and we need to make them a part of us. What we need to do is understand that we need to turn those benefits into the drive and the desire that will make it a must for you to be a leader. What you have that must drive you to action. And by the way, that's a chapter in my book too. And must stands for makes you stay targeted. Makes you stay targeted. That's how I remember it. Okay. Okay, Simon Sinek in his book says that it's important to start with why, and I say take it a step further and turn it into a must. Because when it's a must, you burn your bridges, you burn the ships. There's no turning back. And that passion and that desire and that must obliterates all the excuses. In fact, some of you might say I'm too old. Some of you might say I'm too young. I'm just going to read a few of these. We don't have time for all of them. Amber Kelly, 9-year-old star of her own healthy cooking YouTube channel, has more than 37,000 subscribers. 9 years old. Leanna Archer was 8 years old. She decided to share her great-grandmother's recipe for an all-natural hair pomade. She sells her all-natural, sulfate and paraben-free hair and skin products worldwide and was recognized in Forbes magazine. At 8. At 6 years old, owner of Mr. Corey's Cookies, according to his website, said he wanted to have a car that he could drive to school because he didn't like taking the bus. At 6. At 10 years old, he bought his family a car. So, those are the youngins. Now, what about this? At the early age of 65, Colonel Sanders started Kentucky Fried Chicken. At the early age of 77, John Glenn Jr. was the oldest astronaut in space. Oh yeah, let's not forget Ronald Reagan at 69, and yes, Mr. Trump at 70. No politics. We don't want a war in here, so we'll keep going. All right. Emmanuel Riva, Academy Award nominee at 85. Betty White, oldest Emmy winner at 88. And the oldest practicing doctor, when she finally decided to stop her practice, was 103.
Wow.
Oh, now my guess is you're not 9 years old, and you're not 103 yet. So no excuse. No excuse. So what is it again? We look for opportunity, we create opportunity, and we take action on opportunity. We talked about emotion versus logic. We talked about relating to people in front of you. We talked about opposite hand attack and making a commitment at lunch. We talked about how our must will obliterate excuses. All right, here's a fun tool to tie it all together. Let's grab that envelope, but don't open it. Now I want you to make me a promise with your opposite hand. With your opposite hand, hold your opposite hand up and make me a promise. Keep the envelope in the other hand. Okay, whatever. Promise me. Repeat after me. I will not, say anything if I know what's inside this envelope when I open it. I will remain, I will sit down if I know what's inside this envelope. Everybody stand up and open up your envelope. And don't say anything if you know what it is. We'll deal with it soon enough. Just tear it open. Just tear it open. Quickly, quickly. We only have a few more minutes left. If you know what it is, sit down. If you don't know what it is, stay standing. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Cool. Uh-oh. 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 We have to be creative here. You all know what it is.
Sort of.
Well, sword is not good enough. Stay standing. Okay. At the count of 3, I want you to take, the people who are standing, take that tool, put the big part toward your mouth, like that, and put your hand up like that, and blow. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Great. Awesome. Okay, so now, everybody else in the room, stand up. Because we all know what this is called. What is this called? A kazoo. And what did I say on the envelope?
Don't blow.
Oh, don't blow it. Right, because what are you supposed to do?
Blow it.
No, you're supposed to hum. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Okay. Who has a birthday in the room? I mean, not who has a birthday. We all have birthdays. Whose birthday is next month? Okay. At the count of 3, we're going to hum happy birthday. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, thank you for that participation. You can all sit down. So why did I have you use that tool? Well, for 3 reasons, real quickly. One, that you need to look for opportunity, you need to create opportunity, and then you need to take action on opportunity. Well, people are like that. It's important to understand that some people don't see what's right in front of their face. If you look on the kazoo, it says to hum right on it, and real hard to read, but it's there. So it's important sometimes to have a mentor to help you with the little tricks and tips. Create opportunity. Well, we all hummed. And what we did as far as taking action, we all had fun with our kazoo. Now, what I want you to do is the next time you go to a birthday party, you get to keep the kazoo. Next time you go to a birthday party, I want you to hum happy birthday. And when you do that, it'll remind you today. Okay, so I'm a champion for leaders, and I want you to remember these 3 things. And I want you to repeat after me. Look for opportunity.
Look for opportunity.
Create opportunity.
Create opportunity.
Take action on opportunity.
Take action on opportunity.
Okay. My 5-star formula for champion of change, STARR. You can look at it on my website. More about it. It stands for strategy, transformation, attitude, responsibility, relationships. It's STARR. It's the only way I can remember it. It's okay. You can go, ah. So, it's all about my mnemonic devices. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, how much time we got left?
It's 40 minutes and 55 seconds.
40 minutes and 55 seconds. So we're not going to have time to do my change quiz. So I want you to go to my website later today, 5starchange.com, and you can take my free change quiz. It'll be a lot of fun. Or you can talk to me about it outside in the hall. Okay, so here's the last thing I want to tell you. This is a poem that I wrote because I was inspired by Nelson Mandela to write it. It's on YouTube with a video, and it's on iTunes with a song. Did I mess something up too? Yeah, I did. My little microphone went boom. Okay. So, you are the greatest. There is no one like you. It's time to admit that. By not doing so, you're cheating yourself and the world. You're here to do great works, and you know it. Ever since you were young, you knew you were here for a purpose, and you let the world shrink you down. This is your time to shine. Your light is a beacon for others to see, a beacon that illuminates a world of possibilities. You owe it to the young child within you to find your dream again and make it real now, to step up to leadership. You owe it to the young child within you to find your dream now and make it real now. Not to do so would be a crime against you and a crime against your fellow Toastmasters. Not to take that challenge is not in your best interest. To take that challenge is in your best interest. So, I want you to join me today. Take my hand, and let's live our lives on purpose.
So Toastmasters and guests, I'm Amanda Ray Boyle. I'm the Area Director for Area 55. Let's give one more round of applause for our speaker, D.W. Starr. On behalf of the district, I'd like to present you with a small token of appreciation.
Should I use my opposite hand to shake?
If you'd like to.
Thank you. Thank you. Aside you go.
I frequently eat with my non-dominant hand, and my mom would yell at me and tell me I was eating like I was British. I have no clue.
Switch the knife and the
I
fork,
would.
right?
Throw my
Yeah. I remember seeing that on TV. That's how they caught the spy.
I saw that. 'Cause
Yeah, he was an American spy and he was using his American hands instead of his European hands.
It was
Absolutely.
a very deadly dinner. All
Yes, it
right.
was.
So Toastmasters, please be sure to fill out your evaluation forms and leave them in the back with Jill.
Give me all fives.
If you don't have one or you want to fill out a few extras for him, then there's extra copies in the back.